What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith. I hope you're all having yourselves a great day. Practice got moved up today. In case you were unaware, it was going to be a later video tonight. I actually woke up, got a message, asked if I wanted to go to the joint practice today. So, Herschel, you son of a bitch. I hope he doesn't come charging in this door now, but yeah, can't drive right now. My ankle is destroyed. So, unfortunate. Now, I thought about getting an Uber or something. I was like, I got to make this happen. And then he told me that it was being moved up 3 hours. I'm like, yeah, I'm really not going to be able to make that happen. So, unfortunate that I was not able to be there. But turns out it was a pretty short practice today and limited in what they show us. But we were able to get some of the clips before the 11-on-11, 7-on-7 team action. But look, I'm going to go through the tweets. I'm going to go through the highlights. We'll talk about the press conference notes. We'll get every piece of information you need to know about what happened at today's joint practice, day 2. But let's start this bad boy off with that little highlight video. Enjoy some of the sights from today. Go Birds! There you be, ladies and gentlemen, some sights from today. And before practice got started, we did hear from Nick Sirianni. So talk about what he had to say quickly. Then we'll go through the tweets. But they asked him about Jordan Davis. He talked about his hard work, his dedication, being at the weight he needs to be. He knows what this team needs from him. So he's going to go out and continue to, and he talked about it yesterday. That's why they asked him. But Jordan Davis, he's going to continue to get in that right, conditioning he needs to get at that certain weight, be able to play in the 4 and 5-man fronts. So love to see that. Talked about the offense yesterday was not up to their standard. The D was good, a little bit of back and forth there. But he talked about, having to play up their standard. Whatever he said today, it seemed to work because they had a good practice. We'll talk about that here shortly. But he talked about they asked him about the wide receiver depth. He's very excited about these young guys, Devontae, AJ, helping these younger guys out. A lot of competition, very deep. Cleveland, Nada, all these young guys, who's going to step it up this week. So love to see all the depth there. He talked about, being mentored. Talked about the only rule of practice or at preseason games when they're not playing is wear Eagles gear. Love it. Talked about Sydney battling for, that safety spot next to Reed Blankenship. Mixing the 1s and 2s. You're seeing that throughout camp, the joint practices, the preseason. You want to see how these guys do, in different, not just different roles, but playing with 1s and 2s is a completely different beast. So how do they do with the starters? How do they do with, when they're the star player? So you get to see a different mix of things, how they're making plays, where they're making plays. And you talked about everyone competing. Just helping each other out, practice, getting good work. The joint practices, they try to treat it like game day. You guys know for the past few years, I've talked about these. Love them. I like these better than preseason. Not that I can't see them. I like when I can go. But, you see situational football. You see the starters getting reps, and that's something that's very important. So love these, joint practices here. Then he talked about McKee, how composed he was, the nice throws he was making. He was decisive. He was poised, and we all saw that. He did pretty well. So it was nice to see him come out there and give these, receivers somebody that can throw it to them, unlike certain people. We'll just close the book on that conversation. But you talked about Jalen Carter having a great camp here. Excited for him. We're all excited. I mean, you guys know, ready. I still see people commenting on that reaction video from the draft. You guys know how much I wanted Jalen Carter, how much I talked about how he is a generational talent. Everybody wanted to talk about Bijan Robinson. That's fine. I don't care about Bijan Robinson. I wanted Jalen Carter on this defense, and people are going to learn very soon why. And, well, you got to see in his first snap why. So just throwing it out there. But he talked about, free coaching, essentially, getting clinics here, talking to Kevin Stefanski. They're friends there, a Philly guy. So love to see them working together. They don't play each other this year, so why not help each other out? And he talked about the linebackers needing to get reps with Bradley out. Adding Sagapullo there yesterday. If you didn't check that video out, go check it out. But he talked about adding to that room. And we've talked about this. This is a time for the depth pieces. And you feel pretty comfortable about who's making it. You've got that second tier of who's going to be the fifth, sixth, maybe seventh interior guy. But, you don't have these guys that are going. And again, there's only one cut down period this year. So you need those back end guys. And we don't really have another nose tackle. Noah Ellis is the only guy behind Jordan Davis, and you're not going to be playing him much in the preseason. So Noah Ellis and now Sagapullo, they'll get a lot of reps there. So we mentioned that. Then they asked him about, almost read the wrong thing. Nolan, he just loves football. He's energetic, personable. He just loves the game, the physicality of it, the grind of it. He's just a football player, and very excited for the young guys we have here, whether that's Sydney, Jalen, and Nolan and Tyler Steen. All these guys I think are going to have a bright future. Then you see Tanner McKee, Moro Ojomo, Kaylee Ringo. I mean, one of the best drafts Howie's had, and he's had a pretty damn good one the last few years here. So building a dynasty, I truly believe it, and I'm going to keep repeating it. But that's what Sirianni had to say before practice. Now we're going to get into the tweets from throughout the day, what the reporters had to say, what they saw there. So we'll get into that in a second. Let me jump over here to the chat. Yo, my man, all is well here. Pretty pissed off that my ankle ruined an opportunity for me today, but it is what it is. Hope you're doing well. Went to comment on one of your comments on a video, but it said it was deleted this morning. Not sure what happened there, but did try to, my man. It was something about work or something like that. But hope you're doing well, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's go, my dude, Tim. Nice to see you back. And as I say, for all of you guys coming back or anybody new to being an Eagles fan, whatever it may be, there is so much content. If you missed anything throughout this offseason, you want to know about the cap space, there is a playlist for everything on my YouTube. Just go right to the playlist tab. You'll see it all. You can go to the homepage. There's just a plethora of things that will get you up to speed, but nice to have you back, my man. Doing all right. I'm pretty pissed off. I'm not going to lie to you. I was trying to figure it out this morning. I mean, how do you ask for, can somebody drive me 3 hours and then 3 hours back? That'd be great. Nobody's going to do that. And I thought about it. I was like, maybe I should give it a shot, but dude, I can't walk. So what am I going to do? Like, I could maybe drive there. I don't want to put other people at risk, so we're not doing that. But if I get there even, how am I walking? Like, breaking out the wheelchair, I guess, dude. But I wish I would have had, maybe more time. I would have definitely figured that out. But it was nice to see that, I'm still being thought of. So appreciate that to my man out there. But he's been providing me with a lot. And I asked him today what he saw, good, bad, whatever. He hasn't gotten back to me just yet. So he's got to make a drive back to Jersey and things. But he's probably working with the players, to be honest with you. So as soon as he's done, we'll, hear what he had to say. I'll talk about that, in the next coming days. Always try to give you, what behind the scenes stuff I'm getting for you. But keep it up the most part. But hey, look, and no, my Twitter's not, but you guys can always just go follow the new one. It's the same damn thing. Pumping out content nonstop, making sure we change the game. And, we are at a point where I've seen it. People are talking about the cap. They're understanding why the future is bright here. And that's all I wanted to do the last couple of years. So I love it, man. And for anybody else that's been wondering where, I got some trolls that got me, man. They got my account banned. And, well, they don't have to see those reminders about what I said about Jalen Hurts the last 3 years, or Howie Roseman, or all of the people we were going to draft or sign. So they finally got rid of it. But guess what? I still have all those videos. It's fine. But yeah, you guys, it's the same thing at OTR2 Victory. You just add a 1 to the end of it. So Little troll baggins. But don't worry, this stuff, it's never going to end. This YouTube, I'll keep rolling, man. And even they can get rid of everything. I will create a new one. You will not stop this train. I will work for the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, how about Reed coming along so well? We got a safety. Yeah, man. And we talked about this all offseason, Tim. And I know you've been on a little hiatus here, but this is something I didn't know why people, he's one of the starters. That's locked in. And now you're seeing it. I mean, that's it, man, right? I mean, training camp, the preseason practices, this dude's not playing. I mean, he is that number one guy. And you love to see it. You saw it last year. I was at the game when he got put in last year. A little scared when CJ went out and the dude goes and picks off Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, and what's awesome is I'll always have that memory because I'm sitting with my brother and I'm like, I'm telling you, I like this Reed Blankenship kid. I know, they talk about his lack of speed. He can't play. And it's like, yeah, but in this defense with the interchangeable safeties, and it's the same thing this year with this defense, a better defensive coordinator, but the same schemes, things like that. He fits. I love it. But literally, as I'm talking about him, the dude intercepts Aaron effing Rodgers. So I was pumped up, and right at that moment, it was just like, oh, I love this kid. You know what I mean? You just get one of those moments, maybe, just something personable for you. And obviously, I get a lot of those. So everybody's my favorite player, right? That we sign and draft. But it's something nice to see when you find a diamond in the rough like that. It goes to show you the scout team, top to bottom. We're talking about this organization, and people, why are you making videos about who we sign as scouts and get as coaches? And dude, I want to know everything. I want to know all of it so I can be excited and then give that excitement to you. And clearly the last few years, it was a little hard, but this is what I mean about you guys. You watching right now, you're listening. It's because of you, this train's still rolling. Like, you guys gave me hope where it's like, who gives a damn about these negative Nancy's? And I got a little caught up at first. Let's not lie. But, I can't do it. It's like, look, man, I'm an old man. I can't play with the children. I understand you don't like that I'm right. You want to take my content, but it's like, bro, I'm just here to destroy, baby. I want to talk about birds, and that's what it's all about. So love you all. Appreciate you, my dude. Yo, hey, thanks for tuning in. It is my pleasure to give you guys this information. Let's get into that information. Appreciate you following. And look, it's actually been the best thing that ever happened. I'll be real with you. I just stopped putting so much time into trying to give everybody that information that nobody was really looking for. It's like, now I just focus on this, and you're going to get all the information. I used to be the first with everything. I'd give people news they didn't even have. In Tom against Sue, James Bradbury, I told you guys that days in advance. But it's like, if people don't want that, why am I going to waste my time? So they want to listen to people that make stuff up. This guy's going to play safety. We're trading Darius Slay to the Ravens. It's like, bro, if these people had real sources, they would get something right, and they just don't. It's like, well, I'm going to keep doing it, and they can keep trying to take away my channels. It's like, but it's really just weirdo energy, right? It's like, why wouldn't you just embrace it? Be like, okay, I'm good at this. Maybe, if you want to take my work, just ask or give me credit. You don't have to be upset. It's really weird, but it's the country we live in. So let's jump into this and get excited about birds. I'm tired of it, man, but hope you found the new Twitter and appreciate you taking a gander at that. But let's start rolling through this. Appreciate the comments coming in. I will get to those here, but let's jump into this for the people looking for what went down today. So Jalen Hurts recently signed with the Jordan brand. You see him with those Jordans on him. They actually talked to him after this practice, so we'll talk about what he had to say and a little something special right at the end there that we will talk about. Now, Jason Kelce was on the field to start, so looking good there. We talked about this yesterday. No worries for Dickerson, or you knew, and I saw it right after we made the show and talked about how the media was going to run with it. I saw like 500 articles. We need to worry. Oh, it's like, oh my God, outrageous. But here's the full injury report. And, Deion Kane finally not on the injury report. So that's great. Maybe he was limited though, but he was at practice. That's good for him. He was limited yesterday, but you could see he did not practice. Covey, Dickerson, Patrick Johnson again, Hassan Reddick, and Quez. Now, Reddick, as you can see, he's had a thumb issue lingering there. So it's not supposed to be serious, but hey, he's gotten a couple reps in. That's good, but you got to be precautious here. This is the off season, dude. We do not want to get anybody hurt. So now we're moving along here. Got the next one up. Justin Evans getting some first team reps. We've talked about this. You're going to have everybody in there. We're really trying to find out. And I've told you a million times. I told you before the draft why I wanted Sidney Brown. And I'm telling you now, this kid is the future. I don't care if day one they don't have him at safety. Oh, he's not listed as a starter. He's still going to get reps. He is a weapon. You're going to use him, and he eventually will be the future here. I'm excited. Let's go. But for now, you've got veterans like Justin Evans, Kayvon Wallace battling it out behind, Terrell Emmons is in the mix too. He's not a starter yet. So whoever wants to win the job, go get you some. Up next was Sua Opeta filling in for Landon Dickerson today. We know Josh Sills was doing that yesterday. Opeta did have some reps as well. But, look, you're trying to figure out, again, mixing everybody in and out. Don't think Opeta makes his team. He was one of the things I pointed out in the game. But Josh Sills, I do believe he obviously, to me, makes this roster as somebody that can play interior and he can help you at tackle. So up next, you see Sidney Brown, man. Look, love this mother effer. We've talked about it for months upon months, and I love to see the love this kid's getting. But there was a fight that broke out. He laid a block, and Reed Blankenship and Zach Cunningham were all in there. But you see Sidney Brown in the middle of the scrum. This kid, they talked to him after this practice too, and he had some awesome things to say. Really love this kid. And I just, oh, yeah. Like, when you put so much time into a pre-draft, videos, and you talk about players extensively, feels good when you get them. And this is one of those I feel very, very good about getting. And I'm telling you, man, this kid is going to be special. Now, Derek Barnett, yesterday he got himself a sack. That's good, right? Well, there was a third scrum. There was a second one in there somewhere. But in the third one, Derek Barnett involved. So, the media will take that and run. They'll be excited about the first two, but not the third, which I love seeing that stuff. But then you see James Bradbury, we talked about yesterday, getting some nickel work there. Hey-oh. So versatile pieces. Talking about that all over the defense, not just the offense. And, man, I love to see that. We talk about him, being able to play anywhere on the field. Left, right, now inside. That's awesome. Zone man. Yeah, James Bradbury is a bad dude. And now up next, Trey Sermon, middle of the field, parted wide open by the offensive line, gets himself a touchdown. Had a lot of work this past weekend. Didn't do too much there. He did get that lone touchdown, but yeah, it was short work there. He averaged I think 2.3 yards per carry. Didn't do much in the kick return game, which was surprising to see him back there, but need to see more if you want to push out Boston Scott for that fourth job, or maybe even compete with Rashad Penny. Now, the most underrated player on this team, Josh Sweat. I've been seeing a lot of love for this young man this year, and let's effing go, baby, because this dude is the real deal. We talk about he and Reddick with Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith behind him. Whoever else wins the jobs, this edge rusher department's going to be nasty. But he, of course, was at it again today, just doing his thing. And, causing fumbles, getting sacks. That's what it's all about, baby. So go Josh Sweat. Up next, you have Milt and Fletch in on a play here. And you know how I feel about Milton Williams. We heard yesterday, look, a lot of praise going his way, and rightfully so. I think this is going to be a big year for he with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox in that middle. That is a nasty, nasty rotation. And speaking of Mr. Jalen Carter, what a freaking offseason he's having. I will always remember this draft. It was my first ever live stream of a draft. And that, just pure emotion coming out, man. This dude is truly a generational talent. I can't believe we have him here. So excited to see what he does. But he puts Joel Bitonio on his ass. That is a 5-time Pro Bowler. So, yeah, he's young and he's got a lot of work to do. So he's going to get better and better and better, and I really cannot wait for that. Now, Jalen Hurts out here slinging dimes. Talked to him as well after practice. Had some real good ones there, but had a nice goal line fake there. Lost it up to Devontae. Then he gets another one to AJ on extra time, and look, you're going to see that all year, baby. That's our MVP, him, QB1, Jalen effing Hurts. Let's go. Now, just talked about Reed Blankenship here shortly, and, he gets another interception, 2 today, 3rd in the last 2 days. So keep it up, young man, and this is why I love these joint practices. Again, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do good things. You take it all with a grain of salt, but this is time for them to learn. They're not getting that action in preseason, so you hear a lot of people complaining about this time of year. I don't watch that stuff. That's fine. Football is not for everyone. I understand people just want to yell and talk about clickbait. That's fine, man. This is a time where the sickos, you out there getting ready to watch some Eagles football in 26 days, you're ready to run through a wall. You want to know it all. I love it. Tyree Cleveland, another good practice today. Let's effing go. Then you see, Mariota hits Cleveland for the 2-point conversion. So look, he played the most snaps, and he did a lot more than Nada did, and Nada was the one that was standing out in camp. So we talked about, both the guys I just mentioned there have return capability. I would like to see them back there on Thursday in that preseason game. We shall see. Tomorrow, we're going to break some things down. Thursday, we'll have a preseason game, pregame show, which is crazy, and then a postgame show. One more preseason game. Dude, we're 26 days away from game one. I can't stress enough how awesome that is. So they've got some work to do, a few weeks left to show what they've got. Now, to end the team drills, Josh Jobe gets an interception. And look, this dude, I'm telling you, the versatility, just his size, how he uses his body. This dude's making the roster and has a very bright future here. And the final thing here, Jake Elliott. We saw he missed one in the preseason. Year before last, had some struggles here. So don't like that. Missed from the 45-50 range. But then he hit the other three. Work on some things, get it cleaned up. Jake Elliott, I know he can do it. And kicking's more of a mental thing. So we just hope that he cleans it up and we'll go from there. But that is how practice went down today. Went in order of how those things came out, except for some of them that were doubled up. But you can see how practice went. Then they talked to some of these guys. So we're going to talk about that here. But let me jump over to the chat here real quick. My man, Jock Talk. Hope you're doing well, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Missed the 2016 through 17 seasons. Appreciate your content. It's very in-depth. Yo, that's pretty wild. I hope everything was all right there. But look, man, I try to put out as much as I possibly can here. And, there is a circus going on in my brain of things I enjoy, want to know for the game. So I just try to give that to you. But I always tell you guys, like, if there's something missing, whatever, like, I want to know every single thing. When I'm watching the game, I want to be able to look at the player and know who they are by their number, their size. So I give you their numbers, their height, their weight, their experience, college, age, all that stuff. And it seems, minuscule, but it's like, I like knowing everything. I don't want to be one of those people who doesn't even know the players. Who? Oh, and it's like, bro, I'll tell you everything about the player. Not only do I, know who it is, but it's like, I love knowing everything about the Eagles. And I do is every free second I have, I spend trying to make this better, giving you guys something of valuable information, teaching you how the cap works, teaching you whatever I possibly can about the draft, anything that, how I look at things, how I'm able to pinpoint, 5 years in a row who we're going to draft, how I, know who we're going to sign, looking at it through Howie lenses, right? So I appreciate that, man. And I'm glad you were able to catch the Super Bowl, no doubt, my dude. And whatever you were doing, hope all is well, or appreciate whatever you're doing there. But yeah, man, I try to. I know a lot of you guys have we all have different schedules, craziness. So I hope that you can tune into these, even if you're not watching live, and feel like you're part of it. Comment, talk and say whatever you want, because I'm trying to, give you guys whatever the hell you could possibly need to get ready here. Get excited about this season. Happy Tuesday to you, Liz. Appreciate all of you taking the time here. Never worried about hey, you shouldn't be. You got Jeff Stoutland here. But against the Lions, I think, they had some struggles, but you're going to have that at the beginning of the season. I remember laughing last year when people were, saying the season was over, and I was saying, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm still sticking to it. We're going to the Super Bowl. People just get out of control. Opeta, he was terrible on Saturday, and he's definitely not looked good at this training camp. But yeah, he's big. That is for sure. But on the practice squad last year for a reason. Not so sure he makes this roster. Maybe can make it to the practice squad this year. Yo, my man, Donnie, appreciate you tuning in. Same goes to you, William. Doing well. Hope all is well with you and the family. Let me jump into this now. Check out this bad boy here. And the ankle is pissing me off. So we'll just put it that way. But they talked to Avonte Maddox first, and try to paraphrase this, make this as simple as I possibly could. But they asked him who's going to have a big season. He said, can I pick myself? And he talked about, missing time last year, having a chip on his shoulder. Look, he is the best, if not one of the, I think nickel corners in the game, one of the best. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think he is the best. He's one of the most physical, everything he does. And he talked, well, let's get into what he talked about, but I just really love his game. And I think it comes up here pretty shortly. But yes, JB in the slot. He talked about Bradbury asking him for tips now and how much he loves that. And that's awesome. It goes to show how good he really is at that nickel cornerback position. So very, very excited about that. And I think that, it's good to know other people can play certain things, whether something happens and you need to slide Bradbury in and somebody goes outside, or you feel good with McPherson, taking over for Maddox. So you just need to know what you have here. I love it. Everybody playing different positions. We talked about the fight happening today between the two teams. He said that's just two teams fighting. It's them competing. They're bringing their energy, trying to get better. So those things are going to happen. The media always tries to make more of it than it is. We talked about Job playing very well. He's growing every day, finishing the practice with an interception that we just talked about. I love Josh Job. So I love to hear that from him, pointing him out. He also loved the fact that there are nickel cornerback drills that, are just for the nickel corners, not just, before there was the corners and the safeties, and they were kind of moving back and forth. And we talked about the versatility of these guys. It's great. But now they each have individual coaches. So you have your outside corners, the nickel corners, you have safeties, you have, your defensive back. So all just making it better. I love that, man. And talked about he recognized he had to ramp it up, compete, be held accountable. He was happy to see Jim Schwartz made a Detroit joke there about, what was it? Schwartz said, my Detroit guy. And he said, hey, the guy that used to be in Detroit, or former Detroit guy, something like that. I was like, ooh. But he tries to give tips to the young guys in preseason. He wants everyone to succeed. Then they asked him about Sidney. He said he's a great player, high energy, ton of effort, just a great player. And then he referred to him as a heat-seeking missile. I love it. And I couldn't agree more. I probably used that phrase when we were talking about him before the draft, because that's exactly what he is. And, people are going to bring up, oh, he missed tackles. He does it. It's like, yeah, man, he needs to be coached up. He's young. He needs to be developed. And we're perfectly fine with that because we've got the time to do that. So let's go. Now up next, he talked to Jason Kelce. Talked about he was happy with today. Much better. They just need to keep improving because they were not happy with yesterday. Talked about getting the reps for the starters and joint practice. You get to see different things than you would in preseason. Exactly. I talked about just winning the day, working on the field, off the field. Doesn't stop, just getting better. Talked a lot about that. They just kept asking him like personal, deep questions. Didn't think we needed to go too far into that. I talked about Hurts. He just has that magnetic personality, a natural leader, keeps learning. As he's playing different defenses, he's going to add to his arsenal. So, yeah, just going to get better. That's going to be tough for the haters out there. But then they asked him about his movie coming out. I don't know if you guys saw, but in September, there's a documentary coming out about him, I guess. And he talked to the last 2 years. They've been filming him, following him around. So wonder if they got me on tape when I got to meet him last year at that training camp practice. That'd be pretty sweet if I just show up in the movie, the Eagles movie, sitting there. You'll see how I felt standing, like literally, dude. There's Kelce here. I got Lane here, Lane's girlfriend, Mylata, Sayamalu, my guy, and then I don't know if there was anyone else there, but I just felt like a tiny little man, and it was crazy. But that'd be cool if that popped up. He talked about good for the O-line going against such an aggressive defensive front like Jim Schwartz has, and then he talked about Hurts just being a badass motherfucker. His words. He said it's not a brand. Somebody kept asking him, like, what about Hurts brand? Hurts brand. And just like, okay, dude. And then he was like, that's not a brand. That's just who he is. And then he called him a BAFF. Let's go. All about it, my man. Kelce is that dude. Now, I actually went backwards here because it was Sidney Brown that came after Maddox, and then it was Kelce, and then it was Hurts. But that's fine. Sidney here had talked about his intensity being the standard here. This dude, just listening to him talk, I'm telling you, he's the future here. I talked about it was just a little scuffle. These guys are out here practicing hard. It's hot. It's early. Tensions are going to be high. It happens. But he wants to be feared. You're going to feel it when he's on the field. Talked about he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but you're going to feel it when he's out there. Love it. Talked about the plethora of vets setting the standard here. They asked him who, and he was like, dude, like everybody. Like, look at all these guys. Kelce, and just going through them all. He talked about, being like Doc, essentially is what I took from it. Leaving his emotions off the field, just flipping that switch, man. That's what it's all about. So love that. Don't want to compare here, but then he brought up Bob Sanders, Troy Polamalu, Doc, just trying to be like those guys and, not necessarily being them. And he said, I'm not comparing myself to them, but just their passion for the game, how much work they put in there, how they played. And telling you, this is going to be a special guy for us. Now, he takes to teaching. That's what we needed to hear. We know that. He's getting first team reps, but it doesn't matter to him. He'll be playing with that fire no matter if it was second team, third team. So Love that. Asked him about Reed Blankenship. He said he's special. He brings it, plays hard. He's a product of the work that he puts in. Love that. A lot of stuff that he can clean up himself, trying to learn from the vets. And the mindset comes with his effort and his style. He's just passionate. They asked him, like, where his mindset, to be feared. And he said he just loves the game. He's passionate. And that's truly beautiful. That's just who he is. That's something you can't teach. And I'm all about that. Now up, finally, the man himself, QB1, him, Jalen Hurts. Talked about Devontae, his experience, man. He's just, how experience has been a hell of a teacher for him, how he just continues to get better. It's always funny to see people like, oh, he's getting better. It's like, yeah, man, when you guys were telling him he was too skinny, he would never make it. Ooh, I was telling you, Hall of Fame, here we come. And, dude, those turds, it's so funny talking to my source when he, will say something about these media people like, dude, are they? And it's like, oh, I'm trying. The more you bring me to these things and do things like that, the better it gets. But talks about all the reps he's taken. Just, that stuff pays off. All the work he's putting in. He's one of the hardest workers on this team. So you love that. He talked about he and Brian Johnson here. We talked about the communication, getting in rhythm together. That's like the difference, calling plays into them. That's where their relationship's going to change. But they've known each other a while. I think they'll be all right there. He talked about he always takes to coaching. You guys remember about 3 years ago when I was trying to get everybody on the Hurts train, brought his trainer on, and we just talked. That was one of the things that he pointed out. He takes to coaching. That's the thing that you need to understand why there's such – me and his trainer obviously had – high hopes for him. And, the story where they're watching ESPN and they're like, you have to trade for Deshaun Watson. And Hurts is like, keep it on. So that right there, it was just like his drive, and then he brought up, taking to coaching, things like that. It was like, how could people not believe in this kid to develop and want to get behind him, even if he didn't? So it was weird to me last few years, but I love to see everybody on board with him now. Let's effing go. But he talks about what an honor it is to be in the Jordan brand now, like that part of it, that is pretty insane. His respect for MJ, he just wants to carry on that legacy, and then mention again how honored he was. And that's got to be crazy. Somebody I compared him to, Michael Jordan, that mindset, just wants to be the best. He eats and sleeps football. And I know it was crazy comparison a few years ago, but I'm telling you, this dude is driven to be the best, and people are going to see exactly what I was talking about. I'll keep repeating it for years. I don't care, because as you can see, the years go by, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe, yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now. Number one in jersey sales. Just saying here. But my buddy just asked me if he could be part of the fantasy draft. Well, I asked you 2 weeks ago, man. But, man, next Monday I will be live at the link doing my fantasy draft. So I'm going to take as many, photos and videos as I can, the little process you go through there, then afterwards. So I'll definitely be throwing down, trying to, let you guys experience that, see what the link looks like without thousands of people there. It's pretty crazy. The lights off in the stadium with the green lights glowing. It looks sweet, man. So I'll definitely make you guys a part of that. He talked again here. He talked about McKee. They asked him about. He said he did a good job. He's watching and learning. He talked about all the quarterbacks doing a good job. Let's not lie here. And then he talked about the joint practices were a great opportunity to learn. They're just trying to set the culture here at this time right now and, set the standard. And then they asked him about his shoes. What Jordans are your favorites? What are you going to wear this year? And he said, well, maybe you'll have to wait to see what comes. And I'm pretty sure he's inferring that they're going to be putting out a Jalen Hurts Jordan cleat. And that's pretty effing awesome. I wish I still played football. So that's awesome. That's all we had, though, from today. If you have any thoughts, questions, you're watching this later, you want to talk some birds, let me know down below. Josh Jobe is definitely, Josh Jobe, Ringo, McPherson, they look like the backups to those other three, but is the seventh going to make it? We shall see. Steven, let's effing go. Appreciate you, my man. And, hey, thank you for that, David. Doing my best to keep you guys up to date with everything going down. Tomorrow, got something planned for you. We will talk about some things before that preseason game. And then Thursday, pregame show. Then there will be a postgame show as well. On Friday, it's going to be Fan Friday, but I don't know. I might cancel out Fan Friday and just do like the recap of the game like we did last week, where I talk about my, whose stock is up, whose stock is down, my projected roster, stuff like that, just to give you a better idea of how things are playing out. So I'll figure it out as long as they stop changing when things are happening. But, they obviously moved practice up 3 hours to avoid the storms today, so I get it. But appreciate that, David. Hope you all enjoyed this content. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. That truly does help me get out there into the algorithm, whatever, who cares? But the likes, the subscribing, the retweeting, sharing, all that stuff you guys are doing, I can't thank you enough. But I hope you're all having yourselves a great day, having a great week. If you need me, you know you can always reach out, whether it's talk about birds, talk about life, whatever it is. You know I always am here for you. And look, we got preseason football in a couple days, but 26 days until game 1. Get excited, ladies and gentlemen. But again, if you're watching this later, would love to hear what is on your mind, whether it's competition, anything like that. But yes, exactly. Appreciate the comment. I'm just heading out here, my man. But Mick, appreciate you, dude. And I really love these joint practices. And, you know, Stefanski and Nick Sirianni, some bright minds, and all the other coaches getting together, sharing information. They don't play each other this year. So exactly, iron sharpens iron, as I mentioned earlier, you know, going up against these beasts. Now, some of these guys got banged up, so we didn't see them today, but you learn from each other. I love that. It's the coaches, the players, the management, you know, even Andrew Berry, you know, assistant to Howie Roseman, now the GM over with the Browns. His brother is still an executive for the Eagles. So everybody sharing information. I love these. I truly love these, and it's truly worth it. But appreciate you tuning in, man. I hope you have a great day. But if you rewatch it, feel free to comment down below. I will be back tomorrow. My man Drew tuning in. Yo, dude, hope you're doing well. Just got done showing the highlights. You know what? Let's show those highlights at least one last time. Then I'll head out. If you guys have any final thoughts, Drew, any questions within this minute and a half this video is playing, let me know, my dude. But I was just about to roll out. So enjoy this. And literally, they didn't have any clips from anything other than, you know, the pre-team drills. So it is what it is. I got what I could. Enjoy. There it is, my man. Hope you enjoyed it, and everybody else out there watching it. You saw Stoll with that nice catch at the end, and then AJ going up and getting it. So love to see it. And yeah, man. And the Browns are one of the better AFC teams. Clearly, everybody talks about the Chiefs and the Bengals and maybe the Dolphins, but I think the Browns, a nasty defense, and if Watson gets things going, I think that offense could be nasty as well. So indeed, man, it's going to make both teams better. So can't ask for anything else. And you know, they try to, you know, put themselves in situational football. So it really helps, you know, learn a lot about your team. So love it. Yo, man, it's truly my pleasure. And look, I'm just about to say, I hope you're having a great day, but hate to see that. But hey, man, reach out if you need. I actually have to get rolling. I had to keep it under 40 minutes. Told myself that, but I knew I had enough time to at least show you that. But if you rewatch this, dude, you know, comment along like you're watching it live. I will always reply back, man. And we're always going to be talking birds, my friend. So let's effing go. But I will be back unless something happens tonight. I'll be back a little later. But tomorrow, got a little something planned for you. Then Thursday, pregame show. We're talking birds, and then we're watching birds. And then we're talking birds. So let's go. But I hope your day turns around, my man. Reach out, dude. I had a quite shitty day, too. You missed the beginning. I got invited to go to today's joint practice, but I can't drive. And I didn't really have much time to figure out when I could go because practice got moved up 3 hours because of storms. And, well, just want my ankle to get better. So son of a bitch. It is what it is, but hope your day turns around, my man. Hopefully this was able to think, able to help you think a little bit more positively. And yes, AJ Brown is very good, and they are complete idiots for that one. But Drew, my man, appreciate you. Mick, everyone else, Liz, and every single one of you that took the time. Daniel was in here earlier. Tim, I know, my man, Unspoken was also in here. Donnie, William, you guys are too much. Stephen, David, another David, actually. So you guys you're truly awesome, but I got to get rolling here. I hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your day. Until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. I'll have a good one out there. Stay safe, and as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!